we played a good football team. They were better than us, and I said it on Monday. We couldn't give up big plays in the secondary, and we were going to have to play man coverage to be able to stop the run. And stopping the run was not the problem. They found one of our safeties, and it was different guys, and they were able to expose him 7-0. One time it was 3. I thought there was we made a couple of mistakes early with penalties. We had a holding penalty and the face mask penalty. There was about 5 face mask penalties on them that they didn't call that we're going to – when you come into an SEC home stadium with SEC refs, you're not going to get calls. And I don't think they were trying to cheat us, but I don't think we got the same calls that A&M got. So it is what it is. That you can say that's an excuse. It is. I thought our kids fought their tail off. And I think there's a lot of potential on this team. We got down 7-0, got down 14-0, and fought our way back, put the ball in the end zone at the end of the first quarter. Right at the beginning of the second quarter, made it a contest for a little bit. And then we gave up 3 big plays in the second quarter. We didn't get our first stop until, we blocked that field goal. I don't consider that a stop. They ran out of time. And then we came out, got the 3 and out in the second half. And then, they converted some drives on penalties in the second half. I thought our kids fought for 4 quarters. Now, 52-10 is what it is. They were better than us tonight. We have the potential to have a good football team, and that's exciting for our kids. It didn't go obviously the way we wanted to tonight. We'll take our $1.6 million, lick our wounds, and go home. Get ready for next week.
You haven't been able to watch the film yet, obviously.
Nope.
But, when you're looking at the secondary, are those mental lapses? Are those just, or A&M just kind of outrunning guys? Or what kind of broke down?
Both combination. We got to do a better job of coaching them in the situation. We're sending a 5-man rush. They're going to have a little bit more time to run their routes, so we got to use better technique and coverage. We got to pedal. We can't catch. We tried to catch them early to be aggressive, and the first 2, we didn't catch them very well. They get a step on us. They're running full speed. We're not, and then we're trying to play catch up. That's as much coaching as it is playing. So we got to get them understanding a little bit better. And some of that was adrenaline. Some of that was the excitement of 100,000 people out there early on. I thought the very first drive was outstanding by the offense. We get the ball, we punt it, we get into a 3rd down, and we don't get a stop. The one on Jamarius, he was in good relation to the guy. And it was great because Glover Quinn was on the sideline, who's his uncle. Glover Quinn was coaching him up about he turned his head. He wasn't in position to turn his head. All he had to do was play his hands. He was in good position, but he turned to look for the ball and created separation. If he just punched his hands through the ball like Dante did earlier or later in the end zone, we have a chance to get that ball out. Now, give them credit. They've got good players. Those guys are going to give Alabama and Georgia and all the people they play trouble. I thought our kids, we did some really good things. And they had a really hard time blocking us up front in the second half. We got to the quarterback numerous times. We made some mistakes by either holding. Now, we had a couple sacks that weren't called. They ripped a couple of our guys down to the ground with face mask, and yet they call holding in the secondary. That was frustrating to me. But that's me being a coach and fighting for our kids.
Going into this game, we all knew A&M, ultra-talented, ton of blue chippers on the roster. What stood out to you the most about them when you were watching them play live?
They're good up front on defense. They're really good, which gives us some hope on offense because, I thought our offensive line did a great job in pass protection. They got to Dylan a couple times. Dylan made one mistake trying to run out of the pocket and threw that ball up that Damani, I think it was Damani that intercepted it. But outside of that, I thought our guys up 5-5 up front did a really good job of protecting Dylan. It happened, like I said, during the week. The first first 3 quarters, it was pretty ugly. It was 3 yards, 2 yards, 3 yards in the fourth quarter. Now, they didn't take their front guys out. They took the linebacker secondary out. The front guys didn't come out till that very last drive, which that's positive. We were blocking them a little bit better. I thought our guys were aggressive. I thought they were physical. We gave up too many plays in the secondary to have a competitive game.
Heading into fall camp, you talked at length in that opening press conference about, we have to be a disciplined football team. We cannot give up these many penalties in game-defining moments, and there was a good amount of penalties tonight. What's your read of the situation?
The difference on those penalties, Sean, is they were penalties while the ball was moving. A face mask penalty is going to happen here and there. Holding, we've got to correct that. What we didn't get late hit penalties on the quarterback. We didn't get late hit penalties out of bounds. We didn't have a lot of procedural penalties. Now, we had to burn some timeouts. We burned 2 timeouts on the first drive of both halves. We've got to fix that. And as we move along during the season in the second half, we would have taken penalties on those first 2 because I wouldn't have called those timeouts because those are going to be valuable timeouts as we play closer games. But the idea was to go into it. I mean, for the first quarter, we did it to, like we said, we were going to use the clock. We were going to run offensive plays. We had to call a couple timeouts because we got it in a little bit too late, had some communication issues with the noise and stuff. But it worked what we were doing, and we kept the game close. We just gave up big plays. And I said on Monday, if we give up big plays in secondary, that's what's going to happen.
Dylan, I mean, you know, the numbers aren't spectacular. 16 to 25 for 117 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sharp in a lot of ways. I mean, what was your read on his performance?
I thought he did a good job for what we asked him to do. We weren't going to sit back there and throw it all day long because we knew they were good up front. We converted the 4th and 2, which is a big play in the second half. We converted a couple third downs, which was really good. I thought we had a pretty good read on what they were doing. We blocked them long enough, and that was what it was going to take to have some success. I mean, they're a good football team. I mean, I'm excited to see how their season ended up because they're probably a little bit more talented. I mean, I thought they were talented. They're probably a little bit better than even I thought coming into this thing, which is good for Coach Fisher.
Would you say this is the best team you'll play all year?
Not even close. They're far more talented than anybody else will play. I love the spirit of our football team. There was a bunch of when I was sitting here 2 years ago. Now the score was only 34-0 2 years ago. That might look a little bit more competitive, which was not. Coach Fisher and I mean, if they could have scored 80 points like Oregon did today, they would have. They didn't pull off the gas. Our kids fought to the very, very end, and our kids were very disappointed in the locker room. They weren't like, let's just get this over with, because we had a bunch of kids in there. The majority of that team expected to win the football game. And things went south a little bit early. They didn't stop playing. There was no fighting amongst our team, which we've had. I mean, they were in it for each other until the end of the game. And I thought they fought their tails off for 4 quarters. I mean, I've got a lot of excitement for this team. Coming off of a loss like this is the potential of this team. I mean, we should be fighting for a bowl game in November. We've got enough talent on this team if we get them right.
Moral victories are like the
Nope, there are no moral victories. I won't say that.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask you in particular. I mean, like, you know, tonight, I mean, you do feel like there's progress made on both sides of the ball.
Oh, we got our tails whooped tonight. The score is 52-10. Our kids fought their tails off. We got a tough football team. We've got enough talent to compete. We got to fix some things, obviously, in the secondary to make some plays. We got to get healthy and stay healthy. We got a couple of guys nicked up, bumped and bruised, all that good stuff. But the moral victory aspect of it, our guys were in that locker room freaking hurt, which I'm glad. I hope it hurts in their gut so bad because it'll make them. Now they have 24 hours to lick their wounds. We'll go on the plane. We'll go home. I thought they handled this trip the right way. We got beat by a good football team, and we had to sell out in order to. I tell you what, we could have made this game close in the fact of if somebody wants to say 24. No, I mean, and played really, really soft in the secondary. Let them methodically move the ball, and then keep the score. I don't know, a moral victory score. I'm not into that. I wanted to stone them in the run. They ran for 100 and some yards. They had the quarterback that popped early on a scramble. They had a run in the second quarter on a second 20. We called a pass rush stunt. They got me on that. And they popped one. We missed a tackle, and they popped it for about, I think it was a 30-yard run, 27-yard run. Outside of that, they could not run the ball. I mean, Coach Fisher told me after the game, I'm not going to share, but I mean, they struggled running the football. And they need to run the football in this league to have a chance to win or to compete in the CFP. We had to do some of those things to give ourselves a chance to compete because we got the pieces. We just made some mistakes in the secondary. We got to fix pieces. It's not a talent issue. We got to fix some technique and play better next week.
On the note of running, I mean, your own running backs tonight, I mean, Krosky Merritt, first ever TD
Mm-hmm.
for the Lobos. Like, what did you like out of him?
I thought both of them ran real violent. I thought Sherrod White ran really good in the second half. I mean, those holes weren't big, and those guys were doing a really nice job. They kept pounding up in there. Bill ran for 60 almost? 50. I mean, on what, 11 carries? Yeah. It's almost 6 yards a carry against them. We didn't want to get Bill hurt either. We could have given it to him 30 times tonight. And, I mean, we've got an opportunity if we've got enough talent in that room. I mean, there's optimism for our team. I mean, I like this football team. I'm proud of this football team.
Let's go to the Zoom. You guys have anything?
Go ahead, Jared.
Hey, Coach, can you just talk about, obviously, Kavian coming back from injury, getting 11 tackles tonight? Can you just talk about his performance?
Yeah, I thought he was outstanding. We had one miscommunication in the secondary on one of their touchdowns. Not something that we can't correct. We were trying to go three-way when they went to a nasty bunch. He called it. We didn't communicate all the way across. I think 2 guys did, 1 guy didn't, and that guy ended up in the corner. And then I probably screwed Tavian on that last touchdown on the corner route. I could have called the coverage to give him a little bit more help, but we were getting to the quarterback. Guy gave him a move, and that was the only play I think Tavian didn't make all night long, which I'm going to put Tavian in those positions all season long because he's a talented football player that can make those plays. I thought he played great tonight. He banged up his ankle there at the end. We'll see how bad it is. I don't think it'll be too bad because you didn't see any of our guys laying down on the field, and they take pride in that. We'll get him fixed up and see how he is. But I was proud of his, especially coming off the ACL. I thought him and Alec and DJ, you couldn't have told those guys had torn ACLs. You didn't wear your brace, did you? Neither did Alec, and then DJ wore his lineman brace. So I mean that give credit to those kids for having the dedication and discipline to do it, and then Bob and Jeff and then Derek, our strength coach, for getting those guys ready to play. I mean that you couldn't tell they had those.
Anything else on the Zoom?
Yeah, one more for me.
Sure.
You talked about the potential of this team, obviously, and like you like the offensive line and the run game, but I mean, just having a quarterback like Hopkins under center, how big is that moving forward for this offense? I mean, it seemed like he was running the offense pretty well.
I thought he did a great job. I thought Dylan's got a potential to be, like I said early in the week, I think he has a chance to be one of the best quarterbacks in this league. If we can keep him healthy, and I thought our guys took a great step forward doing that. I mean, I think he got hit 2 or 3 times tonight. Which gave us confidence to sit back there and be able to throw the football. And I thought he made some big time throws. That 4th and 2 was a big time conversion early in the second half to keep our momentum going. I think Dylan, he's got a chance to be really good if we can keep him healthy. And Ja'Cory and Christian all 3 of those running backs that played tonight did a nice job. So there's something to build on.
And the last one here from Sean.
It's more innocuous than not, but it's not like you guys haven't rehearsed. You had a spring game and you had countless practices. And did everything go smooth in some ways with this essentially new offensive staff, and then new DC, and you're working with Troy on that note? Or
I thought that communication aspect was fine. Obviously, the coaching aspects of having to burn those 2 timeouts on the first 2 drives in both halves, we can't do that because those timeouts, first half timeouts, I'm not worried about. Second half timeouts are like gold. So we got to be now. The score was I think 35-7 or whatever, so I wasn't worried about that. It was about competing and getting to the end of the football game, giving our kids the best chance to be successful and competing in that environment. I thought that was fine. There was not an issue with any of that. I actually thought our signal blockers, we're one of those teams now that has that big giant flag, and I thought those guys did a great job because there's some. We didn't have any miscommunications there. Our idea was to try and use the clock every single time to go down to 4 or 5 seconds, and sometimes a couple times we got caught in the tail by it, and we had to burn those. But I thought outside of that, I thought we did procedural-wise, it was fine.
Let's swap it out.
All right, Tate.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.